Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Leela Rhodes and I'll be your moderator today. Thank you so much for joining us here at NetCom Learning, a market leader in promoting lifelong learning, training, and talent development solutions. We are very excited to host today's webinar, Understanding the Roles and Responsibilities of Cloud-Based Project Managers. Presenting today's topic is Soumik Das. Soumik is a project management subject matter expert with over 15 years of progressive experience in project and service delivery management. His focus areas include task tracking, team management, client interaction, problem solving, defect prevention, and process implementation. Soumik has delivered successful trainings for PMP, Agile, CAPM, ITIL, and many more programs. Please bear in mind that this is just an overview of a very robust topic, but we do offer a collection of technical and business courses that can be tailored towards your specific requirements. So if you're interested in a further discussion about those, you can make an appointment with our learning consultants through our website at www.netcomlearning.com. NetCom Learning helps customers build innovative learning organizations by achieving a smarter workforce, adapting to change, and driving growth. We do this with a broad catalog of offerings, developing customized learning plans, and our global delivery capabilities. Since 1998, we have been empowering organizations with our managed learning services to help them reach optimal performance results and address challenges. We have 9 practice areas in which we specialize, and they encompass people, process, and technology training. Today's presentation is from the business process practice area. NetCom Learning offers a comprehensive training portfolio for business process courses. Our upcoming classes include various trainings on Agile project management, Agile for product owners, transition from waterfall to Agile, Scrum team training, disciplined Agile senior Scrum master. And private training to teams is also available, and those learning plans, once again, can be customized to the specific needs of that audience. You can also access a variety of business process marketing assets, such as the free on-demand training and blogs, by clicking on the available webinar handout. Also, these offerings can be found with a simple search on our website at www.netcomlearning.com. In this webinar, we will learn the key roles and responsibilities of a cloud-based project manager. The webinar will not only talk about skills required from the project managers dealing with the cloud computing, but also the top 5 best practices in cloud implementation project management. And now I'm going to go ahead and pass the time over to Soumik to present today's topic.
Thank you for the introduction. Okay, so team, we will be talking about understanding the roles and responsibilities of cloud-based project manager. So the topic that we will be covering today is going to talk about the pre-cloud project environment and responsibility of project managers, current situation of project managers with cloud services, skills required from the project managers dealing with the cloud computing, and at the end we will be talking about the top 5 best practices in cloud implementation project management. Now let's understand how exactly the whole thing, this cloud management or cloud computing have changed the whole concept. So as of now, when we talk about cloud computing has totally changed the way applications are hosted and accessed by business worldwide. There are some key aspects to the way cloud computing has changed the business computing landscape as project managers, because earlier when we used to talk about the application hosting, when we talk about the development work, things were managed in a very different way. And because of this new approach of cloud computing, the roles and responsibilities of a project manager is being changed. So what exactly is being changed? What was the earlier situation? Let's just start with it. So when we talk about the pre-cloud project environment, what was the scenario earlier? So if you look into the details of pre-cloud era, situation was all applications were actually either hosted within the premises or from a particular site. technically you need people. You need a very robust, strong team, IT specific team who are supposed to be there always to go ahead and take care of these infrastructure. Uh, when we talk about the assets that actually assist the user to access these applications, those assets were supposed to be very diligently maintained. And for maintaining that set of assets, you were required to maintain a large IT department or a domain. Most of the development work, um, let's talk about the application development, let's talk about the tools development. So all that were actually primarily being managed by the developers, which is again were part of that internal pool of developers, which was supposed to be part of the organization. And majority of these staff, when we talk about the people who are involved in managing the environment, managing the assets, and those who are involved in the development work or upgradation of the applications or upgradation of the features within the application, most of them were full-time resources, which is kind of adding a cost to the organization. Now, when we started with the concept of cloud, what exactly is changed now? Uh, okay, few more things about the pre-cloud project thing. So work for the project manager was primarily to involve with the technical team, or in other words, as a project manager, you were supposed to have more inclined towards the technical aspect, because primarily your involvement was with people who are into the development work, people who are practically developers, testers. They're the one who you were primarily involved in dealing with. You were also supposed to do some kind of estimation plan and analyze the entire work of the project, and you have to prepare a plan of how things gonna be implemented. You're the one who's supposed to act as a bridge between the business, those who are actually raising or who are actually asking or providing you the requirements, and the technology part, who's gonna go ahead and deliver, who's gonna fulfill those requirements. So you were supposed to act as a bridge between these two entities, and you're the one who's supposed to hold the overall responsibility for the delivery of projects, which essentially means if someone have to go ahead and take a name saying who's accountable for the project, that's going to be the project manager. That's what is supposed to be the pre-cloud project environment. Now, after the cloud concept came in, what exactly is changed? How is uh, how is it different? First thing, there are no internal team members involved in design and architecture piece. Why there is no internal team members involved? Because practically speaking, when we talk about the development part, majority of the service users, I'm not talking from the perspective of a provider, but majority of the users of these application, uh, they are kind of outsource the whole thing to someone who actually have the expertise in managing the cloud services. So essentially, it is the designing work, the architecture work is actually taken care by the vendor side now. Second thing, the coordination overhead increases. Why it is increased? Earlier, you still have a possibility that yes, there are few people in your organization who are involved in the development part, and then there are few people in your organization who are actually working from the business perspective. Now, these are going to be two legal entities. Why there are two legal entities? You still the project manager, you're still going to act as a bridge between the technology and the business. But in current scenario, Business is your own organization, and technology here is going to be a separate legal organization most often, which essentially means there will be a different vendor who's probably providing you the services, and you will be acting as a bridge between these two entities. Next thing which has changed now, um, IT staffing. When we talk about the IT staffing, which is primarily from a business perspective, it is the reason why people are moving towards, or organizations are moving towards, the cloud services, because it saves a lot of money. The IT staffing is now being reduced. You don't have to spend, you don't have to maintain that level of resources for development and asset management activities within your organization, because those are essentially being done by someone who's already have expertise with managing those services. There are also opportunities for good support that comes from a scale. When I say comes from a scale, um, understand this, that when we talk about cloud service providers, the most of the cloud service providers do not provide services to you only. They are actually providing services to many other organizations, which essentially means they go ahead and deal with these clients. They go ahead and deal with certain kind of requirements. They go ahead and deal with certain kind of queries, issues, complaints, and they actually gain expertise with time. When they continue to manage the same thing, they gain expertise, which actually brings in the opportunity for you to get more value out of the services which is being provided. Uh, Debugging is now actually being simplified, because when we talk about the debugging thing, when we talk about fixing issues in simple layman's term, when we talk about fixing issues, it's not something which is going to happen in your uh, premises. It's something which is going to happen in a remote site. So that's pretty much easier now to be managed. Now, question is, as a project manager, since there are a lot of things which is being changed, and like I said earlier as well, that as a project manager, um, earlier you have to go ahead and be more focused on the technical part. What is new now? What has changed now? First things first, when we talk about project management in the current environment, you as a project manager will be the one who's accountable for managing or evaluating or controlling the financial side of the project. When I say financial side, you will be the one as a project manager who's supposed to go ahead and probably calculate how much it's going to cost to complete the project. You are the one who's supposed to go ahead and um, negotiate with the vendors and suppliers about the costing part, about the maintenance of the services part. And you're the one who will be going ahead and primarily be involved in comparing. Because understand, now as a project manager, your primary objective is going to be delivering value to the organization. So you will be comparing that when you go ahead and take these cloud services, what's going to be the money you will be paying? So how much money you will be investing in getting these services, and what kind of benefits you're going to go ahead and gain out of this. So in simple words, there will be a kind of cost benefit analysis that needs to be done. That's probably one part of it. This is all, this is going to happen before the project is initiated. Now once the project is initiated, development work started, again it's going to be your job to make sure that whatever is being quoted by the vendor and whatever is being accepted by you, that yes, this is going to be the amount within which the project can be completed, you are the one who's accountable to make sure that the work is being completed within that. If there are changes happening, you need to have a very strong reason for that. That's one part of it. Second thing that as a project manager you must be very much aware of is going to be the knowledge of the enterprise architecture. Now, are we expecting the project manager, like I said, that earlier you're supposed to be technically strong? Does that mean if you are not aware of the technology right now, you can still go ahead with it? The answer is no. You are still supposed to be aware of the technology, but not just the one part of the technology. You need to be very much aware of the enterprise architecture. When I say enterprise architecture, you need to understand what is the business vision, what is the business goals, what is the business strategy, what exactly as an organization you are intended to achieve. And from that perspective, you need to go ahead and decide that should we go ahead and proceed with something, or is it better that whatever project is being started, if it is not going to deliver value, is it better to stop it? So understanding, evaluating what's going to be valuable for the business, what's not going to be valuable for the business, that's where your enterprise architecture will come into the picture. Well, when I talk about architecture, there can be many levels of it. It can be enterprise architecture, it can be information system architecture, and then there can be a technology architecture. Specifically, when if we have to go ahead and talk about the technology architecture part, from the IT perspective, you as a project manager need to make sure that the let's say you're picking up cloud services right now. Is this the only technology you will be using? Maybe no. Is that the only vendor you will be using? No. So you need to make sure that the technology you're picking up, the vendor you're picking up, that's going to fit in to the overall IT structure. You don't end up trying to deliver, you don't end up picking up uh, services, picking up vendors who are contradicting to each other. You want, as an organization, as an IT, you want this to be working as a machine where all the parts fit perfectly well. Next thing is going to be vendor and contract negotiation. You primarily will be focusing on this aspect. The reason, most of the organizations, I'm not saying that as an organization you cannot develop this particular technology. You can, of course, you can go ahead and develop this capability of uh, managing, establishing, providing cloud services. But most of the organizations will probably go ahead and say that this is not our forte. So we gonna go ahead and outsource it. We're gonna give it to someone who have the expertise. And in that kind of scenario, you as a project manager will be the one who will be the face of your organization dealing with the vendors and suppliers. So you have to be very precise when you are going ahead and negotiating with your vendors and suppliers.
Okay, well, let's hop right into these questions. This first one, I'm not sure if it would be more of a question. They said someone on the team has to be available to train people ongoing, new employees who need to integrate to other systems that may change and affect the original implementation, right?
That's more of a statement, and that's a true statement. Yes, that's absolutely right. You need someone in the organization who's supposed to go ahead and conduct or act as a link between what's going to be the transition and how the team can transition, how the organization can transition to the new approach of dealing with new applications.
Wonderful. Okay, let's see. Our next question is, once a cloud vendor has been attained and migrated to cloud, and migration to cloud will commence, will the vendor, example AWS Azure, take the lead on the process of migration and specifications? And is there a course on the details of project managing a cloud migration?
Okay, that depends on the contract, what kind of contract you have signed. If you think that as an organization you want to involve, in this example, AWS to arrange the trainings as well, they will be more than happy to go ahead and arrange that. They will be more than happy to conduct the trainings for you as well, the trainings for the staff to learn about how to move ahead with the new application thing. That's the answer to the first part. Second part of the question, is there any specific courses related to the migration thing? See, there are courses related to project management. There are courses related to, again, taking the example of AWS. There are courses related to AWS. But when we talk about the transition or migration, we can go ahead and talk about what's going to be new in the AWS. That's something which can be taken care of. That's something which we can go ahead and cater to. But migrating, that's essentially going to be a plan we can go ahead and discuss. But is there a specific training around it designed? As of now, no. But can it be customized? Can we go ahead and have a discussion around this? The answer will be yes.
Okay, let's see. Our next question that we have is, what kind of project management approach can be used to manage cloud projects?
Okay, you may go ahead and use any approach, whether it is predictive approach or the adaptive approach. But the one which normally works wonders, which helps you achieve your objective, is going to be a hybrid. Um, so essentially a combination of both predictive and adaptive, because you need to have some kind of planning there to go ahead and convince and gain support from the business. At the same time, you have to be agile enough to make sure that you don't end up resisting changes. So it will be more of a hybrid approach.
Okay, let's see. It looks like we have about one more question. So if any of you guys do have some questions, don't be shy. We will be wrapping up as soon as the questions run out. The next question is PMP training, is that specific to IT project concepts or generic to every industry?
PMP certification is something which is very generic by nature in terms of industry. It is not something which is specific to IT. But let's understand this, that when we talk about PMP, when we talk about project management, uh, as of now, the industry which is using it the most is going to be primarily, I'm talking in terms of the number of employees. So it's going to be the IT who's using this a lot. So majority of the concepts, majority of the approaches, majority of the tools that we talk about in PMP are very much relatable with the IT industry. But to answer the question, is it only specific to IT projects or IT industry? The answer is no. It is not specific to IT, but everything within PMP can be related to IT.
Wonderful. Okay, looks like we got another question while you were answering that one.
Mhm.
Is there anything that you may recommend specifically regarding Salesforce implementations?
Salesforce and implementation, there are of course there are a lot of certifications and a lot of things available related to Salesforce. I practically I might not be the right person to go ahead and answer that question as of now. But if you want, you can, like Shilpi have already said, you can go ahead and drop this to us, and someone within our team will get back to you.
And you can email us at webinar@netcomlearning.com for that question specifically, and somebody will, as Soumik said, somebody will reach out to you. It looks like we have come to the end of our questions. Thank you so much for joining us, Soumik, and for presenting. In addition to today's training, we have a lot of informative webinars that are coming up. So please go to www.netcomlearning.com/webinars/ to register for any of those. We want to thank you all for joining us today. And as we mentioned before, if you do come up with any additional questions, please feel free to send them to us at webinar@netcomlearning.com at any time. And we hope you all found today's webinar to be very informative. And we look forward to seeing you back here with us very soon. Also, please feel free to tell your friends and colleagues about our webinars and other courses. Once again, thank you everyone and have a great day.